Guys, this is Iracy from CC Sweets and Tweets. I'm the cookie decorator there, and I'm going to do a quick tutorial on how to make the succulent cookies from the new kit that we're selling in honor of Earth Day. So first I'm going to do a quick unboxing of what you'll be getting. Each kit comes with 4 cookies. They are heat sealed for freshness. You'll get a bag of white sprinkles, a bag of crushed Oreos, and 2 bags of royal icing. You will also be getting a bag of toothpicks. I didn't put those in mine because I do have a scribe tool here for myself. If you have something like this, you're welcome to use that, but the toothpicks will work just fine. From what you're going to need from your own home, you're going to need to bring a pair of scissors and probably like a bowl and possibly a little work mat if you don't want to get the counter dirty. So let's get started. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to put the base for our succulents. So you're just going to open up your cookies. And we'll just start with one of them. And then you're going to use one of the bags of icing. Now, which color you use depends on what color you want your succulents to be. So if you want more of your succulents to be the lighter color, I would use the green color for the dirt, or if you vice versa. So I'm just going to go ahead and use the lighter color. Actually, I'm going to use the darker color. The darker color might also provide a little bit of a better background for the black Oreo crumbles, so it looks a little bit darker. So you're going to kind of straighten out the bag so that the tip is nice and straight. And before that, you want to kind of massage the icing just a little bit, because the icing can separate. It's totally normal. It's just the way that the sugar and the meringue powder work together. So just kind of give it a little massage. We're going to take the bag and make sure it's nice and straight. It's not like bent or anything like that. Nice and straight. And you're going to take your scissors. And you're going to keep that pressure so that it keeps it pointy. You're going to cut off about that much. Let's see if you're in focus. Yes, we're going to cut out that much. And just snip it off. Make sure you throw the little plastic piece away so it doesn't get in your cookies. And then from there, I went ahead and I cut off this little seam. Just very carefully, and make sure you don't cut too far in to start off with. Let me see if you can see a little bit better like that. It's hard to show because it's clear, maybe with that background. So it's just cut a little bit so that it gives you a nice edge. And that's the first way that you're gonna cut the icing. After you've gone around and done the circle on all 4 of your cookies, either using the same color icing or 2 of each, you're gonna change the way the icing comes out of the bag by snipping a little bit more here at the tip. So we're gonna start with the first one, which is basically just a leaf tip. Okay, and so what I'm gonna do is push all of my icing down to the tip, and you twist the top up here so that the icing has a lot of pressure coming out of the bag. If you try squeezing from here, you run the risk of it exploding out the back end or just not coming out consistently. So if you hold it at this top base up here and you tighten it down, it gives you a really nice even pressure to use for your icing. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go around. Now this is a thicker icing. If you've purchased any of our cookie kits previously, you'll notice that this icing is much thicker than the ones before because I'm not giving you any flooding icing this time. It's just the stiffer consistency because that's what we need for what we're doing. So I'm just gonna kind of go around the edges. You don't need to fill this all in because the succulent's gonna start in the middle. From there, I'm gonna go ahead and open up my Oreo bag. Make sure you can see that. I'm just gonna snip off the end. And then I'm gonna keep the in here for right now so it's easier to handle. And you're just gonna pick up your cookie and you're gonna hold it over your bowl. And you're gonna pour the cookie pieces on there. And try to make sure to get the edges. The edges are the most important part. Towards the center, not so much, because like I said, you will have the succulent there. And I'm obviously not wearing gloves because I'm not selling these cookies to anyone. These are just for me and just for practice. And you can also press the cookie into the Oreos that are in the bowl, and that'll help to get a nice even coverage as well. You can kind of press the sides in just a little bit. Now, if you get messy, don't worry about it. They're your cookies. I mean, this is more so just for fun and just to have a nice little activity to work on. So I'm gonna wipe my surface down a little bit there and put that cookie back down. Now, depending on I'm gonna show you 2 different styles of the succulents, and we will go ahead and start that here. The first one, I'm gonna show you how to do this also with no piping tips. It's all gonna be just with the bag. So the very first one, we will start with this light green. How to cut the bag for the succulent tip. It's basically just gonna be a leaf tip for this first one. It's gonna be very simple. You're just gonna make a pointy end on the edge. So you're just gonna take your scissors and you're gonna cut off a little V on that end, so you can see that. And then you're gonna flip it over and do the same thing on this side so that it has a nice pointy center. You're gonna wanna try to get this as centered as possible. Mine's a little crooked, so I'm going to trim here a little bit. And the farther up the bag you cut this, the wider your leaf tip is going to be. So I'm gonna give this a shot and see if I like it, if I wanna trim it a little bit more, and then we'll go from there. So I'm doing the same thing I did with the last bag. I'm gonna do the same thing I did with the last bag. I'm grabbing up here at the base of the bag and I'm giving it a little twist to make that pressure nice and tight. And I'm gonna do a few practice leaves. I just use a piece of paper towel. You can use some saran wrap. You can use the box that the cookies came in, anything just to see how you like your leaves, if you want to put more pressure on the bag to make them bigger, or if you want to go a little smaller. It's all a learning process from there. So you're gonna pipe with the center point in the middle and pretty much touching the paper towel. And you're just gonna put pressure and you're gonna pull and then stop. So it's a little bit crooked, as you can see, so I'm gonna try and fix that right now. You just take a little bit more of the side that is crooked off to help to center that leaf. Okay, I'm gonna give that a try again. And that is a little bit better, and you can kind of correct it as well when you're doing the actual piping. So I'm just gonna go ahead and go with this. And you're gonna bring your cookie back over here. This doesn't really need to set. If you want them to, you totally can. Give it like 30 to 40 minutes and it'll start to harden up. It's already starting to harden because it is a thicker type of icing. But it doesn't need to be set before you start this. Okay, just making sure I am in the frame. All right, and so you're just gonna make a bunch of the leaves like the practice ones that you did. And you're gonna start from the outside and you're just gonna make cute little leaves. And you turn your cookie. I'm not like shaking the bag really, it's just kind of the pressure from the bag itself that's making those kind of wavy lines. If you do want to shake your hand a little bit, it'll give you a different design like that. But you can go either way that you like. I feel like the flat, like the straighter leaves look a little bit more succulent-like, in my opinion. Right. And then once you have one full thing around, you're gonna do it again in the middle of those leaves for the most part. Make sure you can see. Like I said, this is really simple and it's a super fun project and it's a great way to celebrate Earth Day. And this is something you can totally recreate if you have piping bags at home. It's really great so that you don't have to have a bunch of piping tips that you may not use all the time. We primarily don't use a lot of piping tips in our cookies at CC's. And then I do one in the center just to kind of give it some height. There you have that first little succulent. And it has some really great texture, some lift on the leaves, and it was really easy like you saw. Then we're going to start on our second type of succulent. Now for that one, I'm actually going to just use the green bag again. So for that one, it's actually even easier to cut the tip for that one. I'm gonna clean off what I had done earlier. And I'm actually just gonna cut the hole a little bit bigger. It's gonna be the same, it's just flat across. And then I'm gonna trim up that edge. For this one, we are not making a V. Unless you want more of those style, the previous style. If you want them all to look like that, then you would cut the V in this one as well. So you're gonna take this one and you're gonna do a couple practice ones as well. So for this one, I like to have the seam facing up because sometimes it adds a little bit of really cool striation on there. So you're just gonna push down onto the paper towel or cookie and you're gonna pull away. And it's very simple and it kind of gives these like long, more, I don't even know how to describe this, aloe vera type of succulent. So I like the size of that, so I'm gonna go ahead and go with it. And I'm gonna bring in that cookie down here. And you're gonna do the same thing you basically did over here, just with this different type of ice, different shape of icing. You're gonna start in the center and you're just gonna pull. If you can see, I'm kind of steadying my arm over here with my other arm. That helps to kind of give a little bit of steadiness. Or you can put your hand on the cookie and use it to turn as you're doing that. And it doesn't have to be like all the same because plants aren't all exactly the same, you know? So you can have some that are a little bit longer, some that are a little bit fatter, and I think it'll be nice and cute anyway. And you kind of just pull those away. When I'm getting to the end of the little leaf, I stop putting pressure on the bag and I just pull the bag. So instead of continuing pressure, which would be more like this, it's more, and it helps to create that little point right there. I hope you could see that. But it's all a lot of practice and it's all a lot of figuring out what works for you, what the way that you like the way it feels or things like that. And see, I actually got that little piece of plastic that I told you guys to get rid of that I didn't. It fell back into my cookie, but I got it out. All right, and then we're just gonna continue in the center. That same kind of doing it where the leaves, in the middle of the leaves you had previously. And you can make these as thick or as thin as you'd like. Figure out which style you like. And with these ones in the middle, I'm starting to pull more up. There. So it looks like it has like kind of like little tentacles coming out. So what you can do is you can add some of these white sprinkles. Sometimes I think they add a nice little look. You absolutely don't have to, but if you want to add a little bit of color, I think those look nice. Perfect. So there you have it, guys. Those are our 2 succulent cookies. We are selling these kits in honor of Earth Day in a collaboration with the Bryan House. And if they do really well, maybe we'll offer them again in the coming weeks. It's still very unknown currently with the whole Corona situation. So we're kind of just taking it day by day, but you guys seem to really love these cookie kits. So as long as you guys love them and as long as you guys want them, we'll keep making them. All right, guys, well, that's everything. If you have any questions, please DM us. Please ask us questions. We love to help. And I can't wait to see what you guys make. If you do end up making these, please tag us in them, send them to us. I'd love to see what you're doing. Thanks, guys. Bye.